Chapter 10 of 10 from Infinity by Paul W. Fairman. The doorbell rang. Rhoda Kane sprang up from the sofa and almost spilled her drink. She was halfway across the room before she realized she was almost running. She stopped. The hand that held the cocktail glass shook. Resolutely she steadied, crossed to the liquor cabinet, put down the glass, and went calmly to the door. He stood there, looking at her through those oddly empty eyes, which, through some contradiction of all probability, warmed her. He came in and closed the door, saying nothing. A touch of panic rippled through her. He was so silent, so unbending, so impersonal. Was this a reflection of her inability to communicate with him? Could their relationship fail because of this shortcoming on her part? What good was love if you couldn't communicate it to the loved one? She moved into his arms and raised her lips. His arms went around her, but there was no pressure or affection in them. Their lips were an inch apart. Her urge was to give full rein to the heady happiness and excitement within her, to show her love in a kiss. But she held off, and after a few moments he drew back, raised one hand, and passed it through her hair. Not with affection, she thought, but rather with curiosity, almost as though he were preoccupied with its composition. He rolled a strand of hair between thumb and finger, testing it. "It needs cutting," Rhoda said. "Do you cut it?" She laughed nervously. "You don't know much about women, do you?" "I know nothing about woman." Trying to inject a gay note into her voice, she said, "We eat, we sleep, we're very functional, really." He rubbed a finger down her cheek. He pressed the flesh on her neck and watched the muscles spring back as he withdrew his finger. "Do that to me," he said. Mystified, Rhoda pressed her finger against his neck until she could feel a pulse in his throat. She withdrew the finger. "Like that?" "Did it leave a mark?" "No. Is there something wrong? Do you have a sore throat?" "My throat is not sore." Rhoda's frustration was a pitiful thing. How could she get to him? How could she break through his shyness? "I think you're afraid of me," she said lightly. He did not answer. He took a backward step and regarded her for a moment with a frown. Then he began to unbutton her blouse. Rhoda wanted to object. An instinctive protest caused her to draw back. His only reaction to this was to step forward and continue to unbutton her blouse. She wanted to resist, but the fear of driving him away held her mute. That and something in his eyes that told of excitement, an unformed phantom of delight that had never materialized but still held sway over her through promise. He stripped the blouse off. She wore no brassiere underneath, and he regarded her breast somberly. He pressed a nipple with the tip of one finger and watched it spring back into place. "Please, He ignored her. He pressed the nipple again and then found the zipper on the side of her slacks. He pulled it down and pushed the slacks down over her hips. She lifted each foot obediently. He was on his knees now, running his fingers gently down her thighs. Rhoda trembled at the touch. Then she realized it was not lovemaking on his part, not in any sense. He was preoccupied with the fine hair on her skin. He studied it closely. "I should have shaved my legs," Rhoda said uncertainly. He raised his head. The cold eyes trained into hers. "This hair grows too?" Rhoda caught her lower lip between her teeth. Tears were close to the surface. "This is crazy. This is utterly insane. I'm mad or he's mad. I don't know. I just don't know." The last garment was removed and she was naked there in the middle of the living room. He studied her body again, that passionless, preoccupied frown on his face. He drew her down onto the floor and for a moment the room spun around Rhoda, her emotional entrapment now the focal point, the eye of the storm that raged in her being. He went on with his minute inspection of her person. No, please don't. Please don't treat me like this. I'm a woman. Don't be contemptuous of me. Oh, no, please. Don't degrade me and humiliate me like this." There was sudden pain. Rhoda's body wrenched and heaved upward. With a sob, she sank back to the floor. "I must fight. I must not allow this. I must not let him do these cruel, degrading things to me. I must fight, but I'm afraid to. I'm afraid he'll go away and never come back. And if he did that, there would be nothing left for me." John Dennis seemed to become aware for the first time that certain manipulations caused reaction. the jerking of Rhoda's body, and her involuntary cry of pain. He repeated the manipulation with his eyes on her face. "I cannot allow this. I must fight. I must resist. Oh, Rhoda Kane, what has happened to you? Frank, please help. Help me. Frank." But something seemed to flow out of John Dennis and into her mind and soul and spirit. Something that made the flesh and what was done to the flesh unimportant. The touch of John Dennis's hand brought fright as it foretold further pain and degradation. Rhoda sobbed inwardly and braced herself to withstand whatever was to come. Mad, mad, mad! But it meant nothing. The building was not for tourists. It wasn't like the Pentagon or the White House or any of the other historical or glamour symbols in Washington, D.C. It was on a side street, and while no one associated it with governmental activity, it was of a size and importance that justified a uniformed attendant in the lobby. He was a hard-bitten old Irishman named Callahan, and nobody got past him without justification. Also, he was a man of robust hates and great loyalties, a man whom Brent Taber was honored to call friend. He was also a man Brent Taber was waiting to hear from. The call came late in the afternoon of the day following Charles Blackwell's search for his would-be brother. Taber picked up the phone. "It's me, Callahan. He's here, Mr. Taber." "Thanks. I'll be right over. And be hurrying right along if you want to get here in time. He's not one to be restrained indefinitely. Tell him the elevator's busted." Brent Taber slammed the phone down and left. He used an elevator this time and went across town in a cab. Even then, he was almost too late. As he arrived at his destination, Senator Crane was protesting loudly. "It's just plain stupidity. Elevators don't quit running for no reason. Find a burnout fuse, do something, and do it quick, or I'll phone somebody who will." "Well, I'll be blessed," Callahan said, completely crestfallen. "It was the switch, Senator. The blessed switch was off." "Well, turn it on and get me up to 10. "Good afternoon, Senator." Crane whirled. Brent Taber. He threw a quick scowl at Callahan and was on the verge of accusing the Irishman of high treason, but he said, "All right. I'm glad you're here. Taber, we might as well get this thing into the open. Are you going to take me to room 1026, or do I have to take steps to force your cooperation?" Taber stared morosely at Crane's nose. "Why, Senator, where did you get the idea my department wouldn't help a member of Congress to the utmost?" "None of your sarcasm. Let's go upstairs." "All right, Callahan. Let's go upstairs." They got off on 10 and walked down the corridor. 1028, you said? "You know damned well what I said." Taber opened the door. He stood aside. Crane walked in and stopped dead. He again whirled on Taber. "It's empty." "That's right. I could have told you downstairs, but you wouldn't have believed me. What were you looking for? New quarters?" "Taber, I'll break you for this. If you think you can thwart the will of the United States Senate—" "You've been doing a pretty good job of breaking already." "I haven't even begun." "That still doesn't tell me what you thought you'd find." "Quit being cute. This time yesterday there were cadavers in here. This was a laboratory." Brent looked wearily at his watch. "You're wrong, Senator. This place was vacated exactly an hour and 15 minutes after your stooge used his court order to locate the cadavers." "Then you admit you defied a court order?" "Oh, come off it. The court order said nothing about leaving things as they were. But that's not important. The important thing is that you give me some understanding and sympathy." This obviously astounded Crane. "From you? That from the cocky, self-sufficient Brent Taber? That's a little different tune from the one you sang in your office not too long ago." "All right, I'll concede that. Let's say you got me licked. I'll admit I should have reacted a little less arrogantly. My nerves were shot. I'd been up late too often. Now I'm ready to be reasonable." Crane was scowling. "This isn't like you, Taber. Not like you at all. I'm suspicious. Why are you suddenly so agreeable?" "Because I believe the nation, the world, is in great danger. I think we should all realize that danger and work together." "Then why have you been fighting me?" "Because I honestly felt it was the best thing to do. I've changed my mind. I'm willing to tell you the whole story." "I've heard the whole story. Then it was you who had my office taped." "Exactly. I'm not ashamed of it. When I'm fighting for my constituents, I use every weapon at my command." Brent Taber regarded Crane narrowly. I underestimated your abilities, Senator. That was fast work. 20 minutes after I refused you permission to attend that meeting, you had your man briefed and in action. It was the waiter who brought in the coffee, wasn't it? Before Crane could answer, Taber gestured and said, Never mind, that's not important. You've heard the tape. So tell me, what do you want from me? How can I earn your cooperation? Quite simply, Taber, by recognizing my authority as a United States Senator, by keeping me briefed on your progress against this terrible thing that menaces our people, by accepting my active cooperation in destroying it. What exactly do you mean by active? Just what the word implies. Have the men on the senatorial committee you briefed been at all active in helping you? Frankly, no. Then what right have they to expect any rewards, shall we say, for their efforts? You may have a point. I believe in rewards where rewards are due. And you want, in plain terms, the right to association in the public mind with the effort to protect the nation. You want favorable publicity if and when this matter makes headlines? Is that too much to ask? Brent Taber suddenly seemed lost, and in truth, he was wondering why in hell he'd approached Crane in this way. He felt ashamed for even considering the possibility of bending to the will of a windbag like Crane. Good Lord, he thought, I must be tired. I was on the point of playing the jellyfish. Abruptly, his voice sharpened. I'm sorry. I can't promise you that. Taber, you're a fool. I'll get it anyhow. I told you I'd break you if you got in my way, and you've been almost discredited already. Don't you know when to quit? Maybe that's my trouble, Senator. Maybe I'm bullheaded. Anyhow, right or wrong, I'll play out this string to the end. Good day, and I hope you enjoy your new offices. An hour later, back at his own phone, Taber got a second call from Callahan. There's another one. Another one? I don't follow you. A photographer from New York City. He's being real cagey, this one. But I know the breed. The kind that's so stupid clever he outsmarts himself. What's he after? Sounds to me like he wants the same thing as the senator. Taber mused. These are mighty popular cadavers, aren't they, Callahan? I'm blessed if they aren't. All right. You tell Mr. King, that is his name, isn't it? You've got good eyesight, reading a blasted press card from clear across town. I'm clairvoyant, Callahan. Tell you what you do. Give me 15 minutes to make a phone call and then send him after the bodies. To the right place? To the right place. And hold out for a good price. Get what the traffic will bear. I'd say maybe $50. Allow yourself to be bribed real good. I'll do that. End of chapter 10.